Hey, what's going on, guys? Jake Verdon Tech here, back with another video. And today we're doing something a little bit different from the normal videos I post on this channel. We're going to be doing kind of a, I guess you could say, a reaction video, but we're going to be taking a look at some setups, some PC setups that I've seen on Amazon. If you've ever looked at the product reviews for any product that you're looking at, some people do reviews but also include images. And in the past, I've seen some actually really cool PC builds when I'm looking at certain components, certain parts, and I've actually stumbled across some pretty cool builds. So today we're going to be kind of checking out some different setups through Amazon product reviews and kind of reacting to some of the different builds that we see. Alrighty, guys, here we are at the one and only Amazon homepage. This is a very different video, not just for like this channel, but from what I've seen other people do as far as like reaction videos go. But I was going to kind of do this based on product. So maybe products I've looked at in the past when it comes to like PC components. That's when I've kind of stumbled upon some pretty cool stuff. So as far as the first thing we'll probably check out is cases, and we can go with the case that I actually picked up for my build coming up, the 011 Dynamic Mini. We might check out some of the other size Lee cases too, and I do have the Snow White edition one. So, but yeah, as you can see down here, people post, you know, I'm sure everybody's very familiar with this, different reviews, but I just kind of want to jump into this and check out some different PC builds that people have posted. Now, I know we could go on like PC Parts Picker and stuff where people kind of more of a social platform where people actually post builds, but we'll probably see some builds in here maybe we've never seen before, because they get pretty, I don't want to say stale on like Instagram and stuff, but you see a lot of the same builds and the same pages posting similar builds. So this will be kind of cool. So this is the 011 Dynamic Mini, the Snow White edition, and let's see what kind of builds we got. We have one from Panda, and as they have the review, they clearly like this case pretty well, so that's pretty cool. It looks like they did a just kind of an AIO setup. They have a Founders Edition 30 series card of some sort, but this looks pretty good. Let's see if we can blow this up a little bit. But yeah, this is a really nice looking build. It's cool to look at photos in the reviews like this, because with the Snow White edition Lee & Lee 011 Dynamic, I was very much on the fence about going with any black components, especially because it's a pretty much a whiteout case. But in here, this is a really good looking build. I kind of like the contrast. They have like the white fans. These are Corsair light loop fans of some sort, but they did like the Tough Gaming Asus motherboard. Very nice looking build, and I do like the Founders Edition 30 series cards. I'd love to get one myself. They're just so hard to find. This is a really nice looking build. I mean, the only critiques I can really say for it, and that's another thing in this video, we might critique some things. I'm not trying to come out here and roast anybody's build, but they probably don't watch this channel anyway. So yeah, just some of these cables that are going to the motherboard, you know, just kind of group them up a little bit, and they might be able to get tucked behind the motherboard more. But overall, very nice looking build. Now, the Lee & Lee 011 Dynamic is probably one of the most popular cases on the market. So as far as the cases having more unique builds, might be a little bit more rare, but this is pretty unique. Take a better look at this. This is cool. So they did like a kind of frost theme where it looks like the PC's frozen. I'm not exactly sure how they got this effects, but that's pretty cool. But this is a full water cooled loop. They do have some kind of Strix board from the looks of it, and they do have a mono block it looks like a mono block. Pretty good size water block for the CPU. Some sort of alpha cool block for the GPU. They do have their fluid sensor and display on there. That's pretty neat. It's kind of hard to see what's going on in this build just with the theme going on, because the glass is kind of fogged up around it, but it's pretty cool. It looks like they do have a service drain over here in the bottom left. That's pretty cool. But that's might not be something I would personally do, just because of, you know, maybe hitting that on accident and then having some sort of issue with that, but it might make servicing it a lot easier. But this is pretty cool. I don't know if they got a few pictures of it. I think this is it with the glass off. Yeah, that's a neat looking build. But not much for the O11 minis. We got another one. This is a kind of just a vertical mounted, another AIO setup, but it looks really cool. Kind of did a lot with RGB, and it looks like, I want to say that's their SSD right there. No, I'm not sure what that is. I guess that's some sort of maybe readout display that might just have this logo on there for now. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's pretty cool. But yeah, vertical mounted GPU. They got some RGB cables, which isn't personally my preference. I'm just kind of going a little overboard for my taste, but it looks nice. But this is kind of more the common theme when it comes to the Snow White, the whiteout cases for the Lee & Lee O11 Dynamic, where they have pretty much everything's white. White fans, white GPU if you can get one, you know, white motherboard. But just to kind of go with that whiteout theme. But I gotta say, like I said earlier, I dig the contrast of some of the other builds we've seen. It's a cool high airflow setup. A lot of RGB fans. Looks really nice though. But just an air-cooled setup. But you know, you don't have to have a water-cooled loop or anything, or even an AIO to have a cool setup. I actually really dig some of the looks of the air-cooled setups. Especially too now, air coolers are looking pretty cool these days. But yeah, this is a nice looking setup. It's hard to tell what components he's running, but just because I'm not familiar with this air cooler either. They do, so right now, from the looks of these fans, and I'm not sure exactly, I'm not real familiar with these, but these serve as intake. He's got intake on the bottom, and then the top does look like they're all exhausting, so he's definitely got the right setup, he or she. Got some sleeved cable extensions from the looks of it. Looks really nice, but that's another nice build. Alrighty guys, so the next thing I wanted to check out, and when I got this idea, I decided to take a look at some ITX cases on Amazon. And in this case, we have the Cooler Master NR200. And there's been some people that have done some pretty cool stuff with this case. Pretty popular as far as ITX cases go, just because of the price point. Usually it's available, and it's overall a pretty good quality case. This was kind of the first case, I would say, that I wouldn't say brought ITX mainstream, but you were seeing a lot of kind of custom premium manufactured ITX cases where they were expensive, they were hard to get. A lot of them were, you know, out of stock and overseas, which did not help with that. Stuff like the Ncase M1, the Ghost S1 from Loki or Loke. So then Cooler Masters saw the demand for how much people wanted ITX cases like that. So they came out with the NR200, which was probably the best thing any case manufacturer could do. So really smart moves on their part. And it's just overall a really good case. There's a lot you can do with it from the looks of it. I've never built in one before, but I was actually seeing some pretty interesting builds on here. But overall too, I was seeing the reviews are pretty good on it. But this is a nice looking air-cooled build. But as you can see, this guy did stuff a 3080 in here, so that's really nice. I like this air cooler he's got. It looks like Noctua fans with like white caps for the edges instead of like that brown color people don't usually like. I don't know if this CPU cooler is actually from Noctua though. That's one thing I don't know, but that's really cool looking. Yeah, he stuffed the 3080 in there, the For the Win 3 card, so that's a pretty thick card. I like too that he did the really slim, low profile fans, but yeah, that's a nice looking build. And here's another one that's similar, a GTX 1060. That is one of the Asus ones with the white shroud, which actually looks really nice, especially in an all white build like this. Yeah, this is a really nice looking build actually for going like all air cooled. And for me too, it's more about the case when it comes to builds. I'm not super like, they don't have to be the top of the line newest components for it to be a cool build by any means for me. But this is like an example of just making a really nice PC with like a little bit older components, not super old, and just really making it look nice. One thing that could just make it a little bit, the problem with ITX too is, especially at first, a lot of times the cables are a little long. You can see the GPU cables for this are pretty long. You have a lot of excess, so maybe looking into some custom length cables or making your own, that would really make this build over the top, that's for sure. But overall, that's a really nice build as well. I think this is, yep, this is the same. This is the build J Revel posted this. So, but yeah, really nice looking setup too. Super clean. But we'll have to do another video like this too if you guys enjoy this, where we go over more like desk setups and not just PC setups. I did see some really cool PCs in here. Some that I was really amazed at people. Here was one of them. So full water cooled loop in the NR200. This was pretty neat. I think he's using the EK pump res combo, similar to the one that I got recently, just the smaller variant where it's like, I think approximately 120 millimeters. So, but this is a really cool. He did the black soft tubing, which I would definitely recommend for smaller builds like this. I've seen people try and do rigid tubing in smaller cases like this, but I just don't think it's worth the hassle. I think you can get a pretty equally nice look and just have a much easier experience with soft tubing. But I love what they did with this build, and it looks like he changed it up a little bit. I believe this was the same person. Yep, this is the same person. So this was interesting. I don't know if he just decided to go air cooled with the graphics card later, or maybe before, maybe then after he decided to water cool everything. But you can see here he vertically mounted the GPU, and then he does have some sort of pump and reservoir over here onto the side. What it looks like. And then probably the radiator down here. But really, talk about using every square inch of volume in this case. This guy really went all out. But very nice build. This was another super cool build I saw. This is a full air cooled system, but I do like the display readout they have in there that I believe is attached to the hard drive bay. But it looks really nice. A little bit cluttered with cables in this build, but I do like the display readout they have. That looks really nice. That might be a custom one using, I think the software is Ada64, if I recall. I've never used it, but yeah, everybody too has nothing but good things to say about the NR200. Alrighty, and the next component that I kind of saw some cool PCs with is the pump res combo that I actually went with recently. I think I took it out of the box to take a look at it, but I haven't put it in my new rig or anything like that. But this is the Quantum Kinetic 240 pump reservoir combo from EK. This is a really cool balance because it's not like a distro plate like you see on a lot of builds these days that are water cooled, but it kind of has that look. You don't have just the standard cylindrical pump and reservoir combo. So I like that it kind of has the look of like a distro plate, but it actually just is like a regular pump and res combo. Damn, I saw this build and this is gorgeous. This looks like I don't know which in-win case is this, but this is a gorgeous build. But you can see there's the product in action, and I can't stress enough, and this is definitely my preference too, clear fluid. You know, if you are water cooling, so far with my experience in this build, it's just been a lot easier to maintain. I haven't even swapped fluid in it. There's no buildup. Really, I haven't had any reason to swap fluid in it in over a year. So the temperatures have been absolutely the same. So I definitely props to this person. I agree with that. They did do the stainless tubing, so that's probably a reason why too. But it's a beautiful build. I do like the vertically mounted GPU. That looks really nice. I don't know what platform this is. This looks AMD again, maybe, but I don't know. This Fantex water block was throwing me off a little bit. But Dominator memory from Corsair, some sort of Maximus Hero board for the motherboard. They do have a display readout here at the bottom. That's really cool. It looks like he's got Armory Crate opened up on it, and they did do some pass-through fittings you can see up here at the top. But absolutely gorgeous build. Like, that is a super premium build. All right, got another case I wanted to check out because I have a friend that actually just bought this case recently, and it is very nice. This is the 4000D, 4000X, but very similar to the, I think they have a 4000D too, which might be an airflow case where they have like mesh on the front instead. But very nice case, really aesthetically pleasing to look at, just kind of like smooth panels and stuff. Looks really nice. And I'm sure there's some nice builds in here we can take a look at. And also, I think there's going to be some fails in here we'll have to check out. Yeah, here is a couple of the fails. This is probably the same person, but I've seen this a couple times. So a couple people unfortunately had the tempered glass break. Yeah, so this could be from a number of things. I haven't heard about this case being notorious for glass breaking, but I've seen a couple people do it in these reviews. This actually is a different case. This is a Crystal Series case, I think. Oh, that's a pretty build. Yeah, here is another one. Very fragile, people are saying. I think a lot of the issue too is, you know, if they don't have it seated right in the channels where the glass is held in and they kind of forced it, if you do put any sort of pressure on it, it is tempered glass, so you can just tap it and it will completely shatter. So here's another one, unfortunately. First time trying to open this case after build completed. Yeah, it's a mess too when those break like that, but that's unfortunate. Like I said, I think this is probably due to the glass panel not being seated correctly and then kind of forcing those thumb screws. And then what happens is whenever you do have that, it's kind of compressed a little bit. Obviously you can't see a flex or anything. And then when you put any sort of pressure on it, it just shatters like that. So I feel bad for some of these people that have had to deal with that. On a more positive note for the 4000X, we do have Molly here, which he has a very nice looking build with the Funko Pop inside. At least I think that's a Funko Pop, but super clean. Once again, even with the white case, I do dig the black contrast of like the motherboard and GPU. It is tough too with these Corsair AIO pumps and cold plates. They do have a lot of wires coming off them, but pretty nice cable management. Looks pretty clean. Very nice looking build. Another product I was looking into was the Prima Chill fittings. These are kind of their compression fittings for rigid tubing. They looked really nice and they got a lot of different colors, and the price, even though this seems very expensive for fittings, it's actually not too bad given how many fittings that you're actually getting. But looking at some of the reviews, saw some cool builds, saw some negatives about these fittings, but this was another one I saw earlier. This was pretty interesting. Looks to be quite a bit of an older build. I don't know what case this is in. I think maybe something from Cooler Master. But from the looks of it, the motherboard, this case in this setup is built upside down from the looks of it. But pretty crazy with the fittings and stuff. I don't know how old this build is or how old this post is, but it looks pretty scrappy. And not to roast this setup, but it just kind of looks like it's very pieced together, where it's like, you know, I had this size tubing here, so we tried to make this fit to this length or something like that. You know, we have some soft tubing, some rigid tubing, it looks like to me, but so we got kind of a mix. This could be some sort of home server. Looks like a few drives in here, but yeah, there's a lot going on in here. It's built upside down, and I'm not familiar with this case, but it could be something from Cooler Master. And this Cooler Master logo here, I don't know if this is like some sort of pump. I would think it has to be, but yeah, this is a pretty wild setup. Little fugaze, I'm not gonna lie, there's probably some things I'd do differently, but hey, I'm not gonna hate. It looks pretty cool. They like the fittings too, supposedly. We only have this one photo from Kyle in this build, but this really brought me memories of the build I did in the Define R6 with the EK, I think it was the electric purple fluid, but it was pretty cool looking fluid. I did have issues with it after, but yeah, same water block that I have and same graphics card, or probably similar. I don't know if he's got the For the Win 3, but a 1080 Ti. I do like the little Gengar. That's pretty cool. So he's got like a black and purple, maybe sort of a Pokemon theme, probably more black and purple. Yeah, even just from this one photo, this is a pretty cool looking build. And they do have UV fittings from Primo Chill. So this person has a couple of UV orange fittings, which actually look really cool. And this is their build, which looks pretty neat. This is kind of like, I don't want to say old school water cooling, but maybe kind of as water cooling became a little bit more mainstream, as a lot of these components look a little bit older. especially like the fans. But yeah, it's a pretty neat build. I guess this looks like rigid tubing as well, just kind of an awkward bend because you can't, from the looks of it, this 240 that they have on the front, they couldn't get a straight line to it, so they kind of had to have it slowly drop down. But yeah, it's different, kind of retro looking. So this build, this is another review for those Prima-Chill fittings, but this is kind of a blast to 2016, 2017 maybe. Oh yeah, this was posted 2016, but yeah, this is an absolute stud of a build. I forget this case, but I know this is the case that I want to say Jay's 2 cents used for Skunkworks. This was the original Skunkworks case. And I know they discontinued this case, but this is a serious, like, kind of overkill build. Like, this is nuts. Probably two 1080 Ti's. It is a dual loop system, so he has both a GPU loop and a CPU loop. And it looks like, I don't know what CPU platform they're using, but they do have some sort of mono block. So they're also cooling the VRMs and the chokes on the motherboard. Serious radiators. They got a pretty thick radiator up top, one there, and I'm assuming they probably more than likely have a radiator down here. Still, even with all those components, they still have plenty of room to really work on it, and probably fairly easy to service. Of course, unless you got to tilt it or something like that. But yeah, they have the Prima-Chill red fittings, so those look really nice in this build. But yeah, I'm kind of curious what CPU platform, but yeah, that's pretty. Alrighty guys, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for checking this one out. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found it kind of entertaining to look at some of the PCs that are out there, some of the builds that are out there for people that have posted product reviews on Amazon and included some photos of their builds. So I thought this was pretty cool to check out all of the builds that are out there and kind of react to them and kind of break down some of the components that people have used, especially an odd place like the Amazon product reviews page. If you guys want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And if we ever do a subscriber reaction video, I'll probably have you guys send them to me through Twitter or Instagram, something like that. And we can do a video taking a look at your PC setups and desk setups. As always guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.